el exec, el vele, el fenómeno que todos quieren ser, el chamaquito que no pueden entender.
How we doing, guys? Episode 92 of the Exec Talk podcast. I'm your host, El Velez. We are here on a beautiful Wednesday night. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're trying to get clips daily for you guys to interact with on TikTok and on Instagram and on YouTube Shorts. We got Formula One back this weekend. Thank God. In Melbourne, in Australia, we'll see if Verstappen keeps dominating. Hopefully not. Hopefully it was just a 2-week thing. Hopefully it was just a 2-race thing. He just stays in the Middle East. And, nobody and everybody else wins. Somebody else wins. It'd be nice, but I have my reservations about that. We're going to talk about Ant's dunk because when I did the podcast, I did it on Monday. Ant's dunk was on Tuesday, so I'm going to give you my reaction to Anthony Edwards, my favorite player currently. Used to be Steph Curry. He's number 2. Ant Edwards, number 1. I'm tuning into every single highlight. This is the kid that is going to be the face of the NBA, 22 years old, and has an ability and possibility to shock the world and win the title this year. Not the favorites. Denver's the favorites. That's clear. Boston is still, and when I say Denver's the favorites, I mean because we're talking about playoffs here. We're not talking about regular season. I'm not taking this regular season. I don't care. Boston has to show me in the playoffs. I've already seen it for 5-6 years. Now with the new roster, okay, cool. I need to see it in the playoffs. Tatum is still the worst clutch performer right now in the NBA. He's like 34% in clutch shots. That's horrible. Okay, so Jokic ain't that. Jamal ain't that. Dame ain't that. Curry ain't that. LeBron, got to give LeBron his flowers. He ain't that either. KD, the last 2 playoffs have been kind of shaky, but he ain't that throughout his career. So, Shea knows how to be clutch. So if we're talking about like the top of the top, I got to see it from Boston, man. Listen, you have a 10-game lead on second place on Milwaukee. But I got to see it. I got to see it, man. I got to see it because you're still 2-5 against the best teams in the NBA. Minnesota, Denver, OKC, Milwaukee. 2-5. That's who you're going to meet in the conference finals. You're going to meet Milwaukee in the conference finals. You have a very high possibility to meet Milwaukee in the conference finals. And you will meet Denver, Minnesota, or OKC in the finals. There is no other team besides maybe some people say the Suns. Other people say the Mavs. I say the Pelicans as a dark horse with Zion. He's playing absolutely amazing. But all right, so we're going to break down the Ant dunk. The first thing we're actually going to do, I'm going to give you the rundown, and then we're going to hop right into it. Daniel Jeremiah and Mel Kiper both released their mock drafts. Daniel's is his second, and Mel's is his 3.0. We're going to go through the top 10. We're going to go through the top 10 of Daniel's, and then Mel Kiper, since I have ESPN Plus, I can probably pull up his whole draft. We're going to break that down. Some interesting picks, especially in the Daniel Jeremiah side. I guess he's been hearing from teams and stuff like that. Some things getting shaken up. The wide receiver rankings are getting shaken up. Malik Neighbors is moving up to number 1 now. Brian Thomas is moving up to possibly number 3. Marvin Harrison didn't even attempt to do anything at his pro day. He said he was going to do stuff at his pro day when he didn't do nothing at the combine. Comes to his pro day, does nothing. Nothing. Doesn't run, doesn't broad jump, nothing. 0. What are we doing? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about March Madness, both men's and women's. The women's, it's a little chalky. I think I'm going either South Carolina or Iowa. I understand it's chalky, but that's how it usually goes. And then in the men's, I got UConn winning. But I got Kentucky going deep. I got Duke, I think, going a little bit deep. North Carolina, the Tar Heels. And then I think one bracket I got Purdue. And in the other bracket I either have Tennessee or Texas. Something like that. But I believe in the UConn Huskies. They just look legit this year. I just think that they just got too much right now. Dan Hurley got them boys buzzing. And they've been number one for a while. And I expect them to just kind of run through the tournament until they get to maybe the Elite Eight or the Final Four, and then we'll see some actual games. But I expect them to pretty much be cruising on autopilot until at least the Sweet 16, but definitely, like, you know, I think they're cruising with autopilot to the Elite Eight. So, you know, that's my thinking so far there. Although I do love the Dukes, man. I love Bellingham. I love Shepard. You know, so I like all those dudes. You got R.J. Davis in North Carolina, so, you know, I like all these players, but at the same time, like, UConn is the pick. UConn's the pick. The MLB's looking like heat in this spring training. Everybody's been going off. O'Neal Cruz, Juan Soto, Shohei. You've seen great pitching, performances. It's been absolutely incredible to see that we are gonna have a legit. I mean, last year was pretty legit, but we had some people missing, man. We had O'Neal Cruz missing. Juan wasn't up to his stuff. He was still an on-base monster, but he wasn't like Juan Soto, power-wise and stuff like that. Not what we were expecting after he won the MVP. I think a healthy Aaron Judge, even though they're gonna miss him for a little bit. Maybe Giancarlo looks a lot way healthier, way more. Looks like a baseball player now. Can actually run. Supposedly he mashed like 3 home runs today. That accounted for a quarter mile, that's incredible. And overall, I just feel excited for the Corbin Carrolls and the Bobby Witts and the Ellie De La Cruz and O'Neal Cruz and Julio Rodriguez. I just want to see all these guys ball. I want to see the pitchers ball. I want to see Yamamoto and Imanaga at the Cubs. I want to see Mackenzie Gore at the Nationals. I want to see Paul Skeens finally make it up, to the MLB after being drafted number 1 last year. Jackson Holiday, I want him to get called up. Maybe he's on the opening day roster. We don't know yet because spring's not over. But people are predicting that he's going to be on the opening day roster. Now, he might not play short because you have a monster at short, and that's Gunnar Henderson. But wherever they put him, he'll probably be good. IndyCar is at the Thermal Club in California this weekend for the first time ever. So this is going to be a first-time track, so really exciting. Don't know any of the dynamics of it. Could be a surprise winner. Could be chalk. Could be Penske again. I'm thinking Alex Palou tries to win this one. That's the 2-time defending champ right now. I think the Doctor of Precision, the Professor of Precision. I think that's what they call him because he's so smooth and perfect on the track. If not, surprise winner there, probably like Scott Dixon, the Iceman. I would like Erickson to win. Maybe a first-time winner in like Bloomquist, rookie or something like that. That's highly unlikely, but it should be exciting. Mike Williams to the Jets for $15 million for 1 year. Listen, I saw something on the mock draft that I just like when I saw maybe Daniel Jeremiah like made it before, probably made it before Mike went to the Jets because like it just did not make sense like what they did, what he thinks they're gonna do. Like I said, Marvin Harrison, no show at the pro day. I don't understand. Like, you're the guy that people have been waiting for 2 years. Even when CJ Stroud's pro day, everybody was looking at you, and like you were like the Ferrari that nobody can buy yet. And I don't know what your strategy is here, bro, but this is a missed opportunity, bro. I mean, it supposedly he's worried about running a 4.6. Like, bro, you run a 4.6, you run a 4.6, bro, but you're 6'4", 220-ish, 219. Like, you know, explosive ability, still a hell of a route runner. You know, nobody got your work ethic. A bunch of people have said it. Like, you run a 4.6, you run a 4.6. Now, you run a 4.6, probably not getting taken number one receiver. I think that drops you, and I guess you're scared of that, the money, whatever it is. Even though you're a Harrison, you know, I don't know what it is, but unless your dad told you don't do it, you don't need to do this shit, I guess. But this hurts your stock at the same time, like, and you've been clocked at 24 miles an hour, so in that 40, it shouldn't be a 4.6 if you're that scared, dog. Like, if that's what you've been practicing, like, and you've been getting 4.6s, like, you must be a long strider to gain some speed, because to get to 24 miles an hour in less than 20 yards, I mean, you can do that in a 40 and still run sub 4.5. And if you run at your size sub 4.5, that's good, man. Run a 4.44, run a 4.42. You know, if you get 4.43 below, you're fine, dog. You're still taken number one. That's legit speed. Like, you know, I know that everybody wants that 4.3, everybody wants that 4.2, that Xavier Worthy at Tyreek, but you know, not everybody got that. Everybody, you know, you see some 4.4s, and you know, 4.4 is good. It still plays in the league. 4.4 still plays in the league. So I don't know why he doesn't do it. Kind of weird for me, to be honest. Caleb Williams did have his pro day. Very scripted, nonchalant. I mean, it looked good. He had a couple deep balls. Listen, a pro day for Caleb Williams don't do nothing for me, man. Everything is on the tape. If you like him, you like him. If you don't, you don't. Like, it is what it is at this point. You get the Patrick Mahomes comparisons, and you know, if you compare him from college till now, you know what you can't compare is that Patrick had that photographic memory forever. So like, you don't know if Caleb has that. The personality is there. Like, you know, he's gonna be picked by the Chicago Bears. Like, there is no, like, yeah, people have said Jaden Daniels might be the better pro-ready quarterback, and I agree. I mean, I seriously agree. Better competition in the SEC, threw for a bunch of yards, best deep ball thrower in the class. I mean, you name it, he has it. 6'4", so you know, 3 inches bigger than Caleb. Caleb showed up at 6'1". Supposedly at the pro day, I guess that's official, 6'1". You feel me? Like, you know, 6'1" with cleats, I guess, because it's like 6 3/4. So with cleats, I guess 6'1". And you know, Jaden's at 6'4", man. And he's not like slender. He's not Bryce. He's like 190, 185. So I guess if you're concerned, but like, this guy also has legit, maybe, we'll see at his pro day, I think in the next few days here, he might run a 4.3, bro. At quarterback, 4.31, 4.32. This guy might, I mean, he might be, he might screw around. If this man even does a 4.29, like, they're gonna be on him like hotcakes. But I think Chicago has been sold on Caleb, so I think they're going Caleb. And then lastly, Blake Snell got signed by the San Francisco Giants. He should have gone to the Yankees because of what happened to Garrett Cole for the first 2 months. I guess not. They didn't need him. It would have been nice to put him, because then you look at the rotation right now, right? It would be healthy. Garrett Cole, ideally Rodon, Stroman, and then if you had a Blake Snell in between Stroman and Nestor, you could put Blake. But in reality, he just won a Cy Young. So it would be Garrett Cole, Blake Snell, Carlos Rodon, and Marcus Stroman. Then Nestor's your fifth arm, which that's okay. That's okay. You feel me? But they didn't get him. They sent him to the Giants. That kid Harrison that they got is really good. The Giants have been stacking up a team. I think that they're going to do way better than they did last year. I like that team a lot. So let's look at Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft. I believe this is the first 10 picks. Okay. First 10 picks of Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft 3.0. All right. Caleb, and then immediately, number 2, Drake May. No. Why would Washington, why would Cliff Kingsbury do that to himself? Why? Why would Dan Quinn want to do that to himself? They just sent Sam Howell to Seattle. Why would they want to do that? That makes zero sense. Zero. I'm laughing at this. Like when I heard this morning, I respect Daniel Jeremiah. Like I've watched him for years doing draft scouting for the NFL Network. And if this is what the league is thinking, like they're not watching tape, bro. And I know, like, you know, I'm not in those rooms and stuff like that, but like the ability Jaden Daniels has with his legs compared to when Lamar was coming out and you combine legs and arms, like Jaden is more polished now than when Lamar came out as a thrower. So, like, also at the same time, I don't want Jaden Daniels going to the Patriots. Like, it's just not like that's a bad joke. Okay, that's a bad joke. I don't want that happening. That would leave me like this with the Washington Commanders. Okay, so he has Caleb going 1. Okay, good. We agree. And he has Drake May going 2. Then Jaden Daniels going 3. The Vikings trade up, take Marvin Harrison away from Arizona. So get this straight. He has some reason to believe, and he called Will the Texans moved up to 3 to take Will Anderson last year. He called that. He's saying the Vikings somehow, some way convinced the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray. This is the thing. If it was just the Arizona Cardinals with Josh Dobbs, all right. But this is K1, and you just got rid of Hollywood Brown. That is laughable. Laughable. That makes zero sense. Zero. Okay? That would make zero sense. Why? Because the Vikings could easily move into, thinking clearly, you would want to move up to the Patriots. Thinking clearly. You want to move to the Patriots and take Drake May for Kevin O'Connell. If you want, because they already amassed the kid. They got 23 and they're at 11. They can easily package that with a second-round pick and maybe get to 3. You got to convince the Patriots to not draft Drake May. And how they do that is basically saying, you don't want him. You don't have the pieces to surround him. He's going to have to start this year because, like, you have no hope at the quarterback position. Jacoby Brissett is not going to do it for you. You're going to be pissed. And he's not ready. So I get them going for JJ. But they can get JJ. Realistically. So what I think is that the Chargers don't need Joel. They have Rashawn Slater. They don't need Joel. They're not going to kick him the right tackle. He is a natural left tackle. Rashawn Slater was drafted 2 drafts ago. And he's an all-pro. You're not going to... There's no reason. So what do? You trade down to 10. Okay? You trade down to 10. And then what Daniel Jeremiah is saying is that the Jets move up to 5 to take Marvin Harrison Jr. So the Jets move up to 5. To 5. That means that the Chargers would have to like think like, hey, you know what, Joel, he's good and all, but we need a left tackle. And they moved to 10. That's what he's saying. He moved to 10 to take Talisi Fuaga, the offensive tackle out of Oregon State, and make him the right tackle. Makes sense. Makes sense. Although you're giving up on the number one tackle in this class that is clearly that people say is in a class of his own with the size and the way that he moves. But all right, you don't need a left tackle. You need a right tackle. Let somebody have some assets. Let's move to 10 and take Talisi Fuaga. Okay, that's no problem. Why would you take JJ at 4 when you can easily trade with the Chargers and move up to 5? Why am I saying this? This is plain and simple, okay? Think about it this way. You just said that this is Arizona. You just said that Kyler Murray is this is your franchise quarterback. You posted it on your Instagram and you were praising him and everything, gave him the contract last year, even through the ACL. And you get rid of his number one deep threat in Hollywood Brown and Rondale Moore. How, who, where, besides McBride, where are you throwing the ball? Where is he going to throw the ball? Exactly my point. Greg Dortch, that's what he's throwing the ball? Greg Dortch. That's going to be his number one receiver. This man's going to be like Mac Jones was with the Patriots. Throwing nobody. No. Arizona's not moving. Arizona might change their pick. Arizona might go Malik Neighbors over Marvin Harrison Jr. That can happen. That can happen because that's what's going around in circles after scouts have seen the tape, have talked to the guys, I guess. Like, we haven't seen besides Brian Thomas Jr., we haven't seen Malik. Marvin's not going to do nothing. We saw Rome, at the combine. So all we have to see is Malik. If Malik runs low 4.3s, he might go number one receiver. That is a legit thing. Because why? Because what happens at LSU? LSU, since OBJ and Jarvis Landry have been putting straight dudes into the league. I'm talking about dudes, bro. Dudes. Best in the league. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, OBJ, Jarvis Landry. Like, dudes. Actual dudes. You feel me? So, I think that overall, him and Brian Thomas Jr. are insane, okay? Brian Thomas Jr. athletically is incredible. He is 50 pounds heavier than Xavier Worthy. They have the same 10-yard split. A guy that ran a 4.21, same 10-yard split. And Brian Thomas still runs a 4.33. At 6'3" and 50 pounds over Xavier Worthy. So like a 220, 215-ish, 219. That's freaky, man. Oh, with a 40-inch vert, I believe. Freaky. You know what I'm saying? That's A.J. Brown-esque. Faster. A.J. Brown ran a 4.4. This guy ran a 4.33, low 4.3s. So he's coming up in the conversation. His deep ball recognition and how he can ball track and the dominance that he exerts. And then Malik is considered at a five, what in baseball is called a 5-tool player. What does that mean? Elite at route running, elite speed, elite quickness, elite mind, competitiveness, and you can play him absolute versatility. You can play him absolutely anywhere. X, Z, slot, out the backfield, whatever you want. He's Debo, but throwing more towards. He's a yak monster, but he's throwing more towards the Debo receiver side. So like more explosive receiver than Debo. This guy could take a slap and bam, boom, 80 yards, touchdown. And that's what they're saying about this wide receiver class. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. not doing no workouts is just going to drive that narrative. Because if scouts are already seeing it, him not showing anything to put against those guys that already tested, besides Malik, which I think will test at LSU. I don't think he's just going to go the Marvin Harrison route, not test. I think he wants to show off. But overall, I would not understand Kyler Murray actually okaying, like, yeah, don't give me a number one receiver. I'll take Greg Dortch. I'll take Greg Dortch. Like, come on, bro. You serious? Serious? That's what you're going to do to K1? You give him a whole contract and everything, and you're not going to give him a number one receiver? Despicable. Despicable. It just doesn't make sense. So, besides that, it goes Malik Neighbors at number 6 to the Giants, which I agree. That was how it was before. That's how I had it. I had Arizona taking Marvin Harrison Jr. At 5, I have the Chargers taking Joe Alt, and then at 6, I had the Giants taking Malik Neighbors. That's how I had it. But now he has the Jets moving up somehow. I guess, like, putting a good argument in towards the Chargers, like, hey, move down to 10. Talisi Fuaga's going to be there. He's going to be your right tackle. Then Joe Alt falls to the Titans, who need him, who definitely need him. If not, they were going to take probably Fashanu or I don't know if Fatanu is up there with them, but it's either them or maybe J.C. Latham, but one of the tackles. That's what Tennessee was going to do. I have Dallas Turner going 8 to Atlanta. He is the first defensive player in this draft getting taken. And the first team that needs defense out of all these teams would be the Falcons. They already have the quarterback. They don't have to worry about JJ McCarthy. That's why if I was looking for a place to move up, although you also have to think about what are the Raiders thinking? What are the Jets thinking? So I get the move up to 4 for JJ. But I think even if you move up to 8, I think JJ's still there because there's no quarterback going past 3. Like, after the Patriots, it is wide receiver, tackle, wide receiver, tackle, edge, wide receiver. Then you could take him. You feel me? So if you, let's say, I still think that Atlanta could move down to 11 and still get Dallas Turner. Now, will somebody trade in for him? I don't think so. But overall, I can't see Arizona trading down and not giving Kyler Murray a number 1. Unless they think that there's a better player down there, which when you have the pick of the litter, man, if you want Malik Neighbors, take Malik. If you want Brian Thomas, you take Brian Thomas. If you want Roma Dunze, you take Roma Dunze. If you want Marvin Harrison Jr., you take Marvin Harrison Jr. You take your pick before anyone else. That's what you got to prioritize when you're Kyler Murray, Rich Gannon, and that whole offensive staff, and just the staff and the ownership and GM. Okay. So that's the 10. That's his 10. His 10 is Caleb Williams, Drake May 2nd, which I don't agree. I think it's going to be Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels to the Patriots. JJ McCarthy to the Vikings. I agree with the selection. I don't agree in the spot. I think the spot should be 5 because you can convince I think you can convince the Chargers to move down and still get a not even quality, a legit right tackle. Okay? And you move up to 5, you take JJ. 6 goes Malik Neighbors. 7 goes Joe Alt. 8 goes Dallas Turner. I still got Rome Odunze going 9. You know, I still got Rome Odunze going 9. And then you got Talisi Fuaga. Who's in that? Is it the Jets? Yeah, then the Jets would probably pick up Brian Thomas Jr. if they want a receiver. I mean, this is if they want a receiver. They really need offensive line. Like, if we're serious here. Like, we're talking about, I think he did this before the Mike Williams trade. The Mike Williams signing for the year. Because you got Garrett Wilson and now Mike Williams. I guess if you want to add a third, you could add a beast, you know, like a Brian Thomas Jr., and it would work. So if they want receiver, they could still go Brian Thomas Jr. and probably get more upside than Marvin Harrison Jr., some people think. So, you know, either way, I think you're playing with house money when it comes to receivers if you're the Jets. Now let's go to Mel's. Mel's a little bit better. Mel has number 1, Caleb. Number 2, Jaden. Number 3, Drake May. Thank God me and Mel see alike. Number 4, Marvin Harrison. We see alike. Malik Neighbors going to the Chargers. Now this makes sense, though, because Mike's gone. Keenan's gone. So now when you look at it, where are the Chargers throwing the ball besides Quentin Johnston and Joshua Palmer? Where's the number 1? Unless they go out and go get T. Higgins, which I don't think they will, or Stephon Diggs if the rumors are true that he might be unhappy over there or whatever's going on. I do not believe that it is a far-fetched idea for Justin Herbert and Harbaugh to be like, hey, we need a number 1. A legit number 1. We need this guy. Sorry about that. He causes sparkles too. But we need this guy. And I could definitely see Malik going to the Chargers. Now, they do need a right tackle. They could get him later. It's not going to be one of the best ones unless they trade up. They take their pick and then somehow find a way to trade up, maybe mid-first round, and take the right tackle. But if I'm Harbaugh and I'm Herbert, Keenan's gone, Mike's gone, I can't leave myself with that question mark. So I'm going. I agree with the Malik Neighbors pick. Now, this puts pressure on who? This puts pressure on puts pressure on the Bears. Why do I say that? Because the Bears were supposed to get Odunze and finish the trio of Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and Odunze. That's what they were trying to do. By Malik getting picked 5th, he was supposed to get picked by the Giants. He gets picked 5th by the Chargers. Rome gets slotted up to 6 by the Giants because they're taking best receiver available, whether it's either Rome or Brian Thomas. Joe Alt still goes to Tennessee. Dallas Turner still goes to Atlanta. And then they got Jared Verse right after Dallas Turner going to the Bears. And I'm not opposed to it because to put him in the other side next to Montez Sweat, it makes sense. Okay, it makes sense. Just put another beast out there. It makes sense. But does it make more sense to take Brian Thomas Jr.? That's what they got to ask themselves. Do you still take the freak to make that trio? That trio is unstoppable. That trio with either Rome or Brian Thomas, I think, is legit trio. Top 5 in the league. Trio, not double. Trio. And even DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, that's pretty legit. But, trio is a little rare. Trio, you're talking about very few trios. Bengals already broke theirs up. Now it's just T. Higgins and Jamar. They might add somebody in this draft. Trios are hard. Trios are tough. You can have doubles, but trios is nasty. The Eagles had a trio. If you want to consider Quez Watkins, but that's not a Brian Thomas type of player. Trios are hard. So that's a trio, bro. That's top 5 in the league. You know what I'm saying? Minnesota, JJ, Jordan Addison, KJ Osborne. That was a legit trio. I like that trio. That trio was good. When healthy, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Michael Thomas. That was a legit. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. But talking about a trio, Keenan Allen, multiple 1,000-yard receiver, one of the best receivers of his generation. Probably the route running god of the league with Devontae Adams. And then you got DJ Moore, Yak Monster. And then Brian Thomas Jr., another Yak Monster with more speed than both of them. I think it'd be good. But Jared Verse would also be good. Because you got Montez Sweat, long arms, can rush the edge, really getting into his zone, into his prime as a pass rusher. And then you got an absolute freak of nature in Jared Verse. Long arms, bend, power, speed, all of it. You got all of it. And that's scary on the defensive side of the ball. So they got a good thing going there in the 9th pick, and a good solid 2 choices that they can go there. Then he has at 11 still JJ going to Vikings, which I agree with. JJ will be there. JJ will be there. There's nobody else who might take him except the Giants, and the Giants are dead set on a number 1 receiver. Every mock draft since the first one has been number 1 receiver, has been Malik Neighbors. This one's Rome Odunze because Malik went to the Chargers, was just possible because of what happened with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. They're not going to leave Justin Herbert butt naked. That's not going to happen. So then, I think JJ still drops to 11, and then he has Bo Nix going to the Broncos. That makes absolute sense. Absolute sense. Like, good job, Mel Kiper. I've been watching you for years. You've had some takes, but I enjoy most of your I enjoy most of your takes. They make sense, especially your draft coverage. Like, this makes sense. Daniel Jeremiah is a little bit too far-fetched out there. If that's what the teams are thinking, I don't think so. I don't think so. Just because, like, Arizona needs a number 1 receiver. There's no way that you trade the 4th pick when you have the pick of the litter of your number 1 receiver. I don't see that happening. I don't see Washington being like, you know what? Yeah, the guy that we have to sit for a year while we have these weapons, while we have Terry McLaurin, we lost Curtis Samuel, but we still have Jahan Dotson. While we lose, while we still have this offensive core, yeah, we're going to draft the guy who we have to sit a year after we just moved on from our guy that we had drafted 2 years ago. From the same school that this guy that we have to sit potentially a whole year from the same school. No, bro, you take Jaden Daniels. You take the SEC Heisman Trophy winner. It's as simple as that. Look at tape and it just jumps out at you. You don't throw 42 touchdowns and 6 interceptions in the SEC by accident. I'm sorry. If you think that, I'm sorry. You climbed up the wrong tree. This is not your game. Okay? That is laughable if you think that. 42 and 6? you kidding me? Plus another like 10 on the ground? Come on, man. You take Jaden Daniels, you laugh that card in if I'm Cliff Kingsbury. You laugh it in if I'm the new ownership. That's your franchise quarterback. With the running ability too, listen, he's probably going to start day one. Okay? You know Caleb's going to start day one. Drake is not going to start day one. JJ's not going to start day one. He got Sam Darnold. It might be a competition. JJ might beat him. Might. But I think Sam Darnold has something to prove. You know? And then Bo Nix going to Denver is perfect. That's exactly the type of guy that will thrive with Sean Payton. A guy that stays in structure, gets the ball out, gets the ball there, a little bit more athletic than Drew Brees. And just a guy that throws accurate, man. 72% completion. Like, that's all he needs. That's all Sean Payton wants. A little bit of athleticism to get outside. So, overall, I like Mel's a lot more. A lot more. Makes a lot more sense. I could actually see this happening. Now, what trades can happen? Minnesota could, be INC and try to go up. If they like Drake May, if he wants to sit him for a year behind Sam Darnold instead of JJ, you can do that. Although I think JJ's the better athlete. You can, the Jets, potentially, we need the heir apparent. You need the heir apparent? You need to move up, though? I don't think so. Because at 10, he has them taking Brock Bowers, which they do need. They need a legit tight end. For Aaron Rodgers. And, that's going to be a legit weapon if you Mike Williams, Brock Bowers, which is basically a Kelsey-esque type of, a Kelsey-esque type of tight end. And then you got Garrett Wilson. So Mike Williams, Garrett Wilson, Brock Bowers, Breece Hall. That's perfect. Beautiful. Don't need nothing else. You can add depth here and there, but that is legit. 4 blue, 3 blue chips in Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, and Brock Bowers, and a really good player, Mike Williams, as long as he's healthy. Love this. Bo Nix goes to the Broncos. Sean Payton probably teaches him the offense. He's in by week 6 and he slots in. JJ could possibly slot in week 8, week 9 if Sam is sputtering a little bit. The kid's been doing well at practice. Boom, slot him in. Caleb and Jaden will play day one. Drake is going to sit out the whole year if the development curve goes how the tape. Sorry about that. This tape shows that it should. You need footwork in this game, and Drake does not have it right now developed. So. That's my opinion on that. Next, the Anthony Edwards dunk. Okay? The Anthony Edwards dunk. Oh, actually, there was a couple of moves before we get that. There was a couple of moves in how do I say this? There was a couple of moves in free agency, just small things here and there. The Jets added Tyron Smith to the left tackle spot. If he's healthy, and Morgan Moses, if they're both healthy, Morgan Moses played a lot, but if Tyron Smith is healthy, then Aaron Rodgers will have a close to an MVP type season. Close. Okay? Let's see. The Jets also bring back Solomon Thomas, so they have the big guy on the D line back again for another year. Former Raven Kevin Zeitler, he signed a 1-year deal with Detroit Lions. At guard, more protection for Jared Goff. Josh Dobbs went to the 49ers. And yeah, that's about it. Nothing crazy. So let's talk about this ant dunk. Listen, the reason I said way before this podcast got into YouTube, okay, when it was audio only, I said Anthony Edwards was going to be the face of the league. The reason I say that, and I said that, and I stand on it, and I believe it wholeheartedly, and he will win championships, and he will be one of the greats that we remember in this game. He'll be one of those two guards that we remember always. You cannot teach his charisma, his want to, and just the game. The game, like the way stylistically, the way it looks, it is awe-inspiring. It is like watching Ja. It is watching Zion, watching Steph. Like, it is like, oh my God, like Mike. Like Mike. Not comparing the kid to Mike. He plays like Mike. On the floor, he plays like Mike. Plays defense. Wants to go at your head. If you're in the lane, I'm dunking on you. I'm rising up. He almost did it to Anthony Davis. He got John Collins last night. Dislocates his offhand on Collins's head while he's in the air, looking down at the rim. Okay? This man jumped 2.99 feet in the air. Talking about a yard. In the air, like vertical. That's absolutely insane. Okay? It is insane. That's 36 inches up in the air. And he was a little bit higher because, like, he was looking down at the rim. He was looking down at the rim. You know, and he has a 48-inch vert. So he's much higher than that, I think. But to dislocate your forehead on his, and it was off a defensive stop that he was guarding. He caused a fumble of the ball. McDaniels grabs it. Actually, no, he grabs it. He steals it. Ant does. Passes it forward to McDaniels. So push passes it up. A forward pass to McDaniels. A lead pass. He runs behind. Collins is looking at the ball. He's looking at McDaniels. He's not even looking at, or was it Walker? One of those two. They kind of look alike. One's skinnier and smaller. The other one's tall, but still skinny. I believe it was Walker. Walker's in the corner. He's a good three-point shooter, so he might shoot. Nah. Ant comes full speed from the steal, crosses half court, gets the ball one step into the three-point line, takes one dribble, gathers 2 feet right after the free throw line, like right in the first semicircle, takes off and hits John Collins with his offhand, dislocates this finger on his head, so much so that John Collins has to leave the game for a head contusion. That's how hard he hit him. And then is looking down at the rim. There's a still shot. He's looking down at the rim. And he throws it in. Almost grazes the rim. But that's a dunk. Bro, he got dunked on. And they put a side by side with him and Mike. That is uncannily similar, bro. I showed my dad. And he was like, yeah, that's what Mike used to do. You know, this is Vince Carter-esque. Michael Jordan-esque. Kobe had this type of bounce. It's like trampolines on the feet. Him and Ja. Ant 6'4", 225. Ja 6'2". And they jump out the gym. Now, Zion 6'6". And they jump out the gym. Like, out the gym. Zion had a alley-oop yesterday where he's like, he caught it. He was like halfway to the basket from the free throw line in the air when he caught the alley-oop. Caught it back here. Caught it. And then just boom, dunked it. I actually dunked it. Didn't throw it in, but I dunked that shit. Like, these are players that are just exciting, man. I love Steph, man. I love Steph. Like, I love watching Steph play. Love it. But Steph ain't getting up there like that. So for me, if I'm trying to watch excitement, a play that it's gonna blow the internet apart, I'm watching Ant. When he's healthy, I'm watching Ja. I'm watching Zion. If I want grace in the game, if I want to watch a maestro, an artist, just paint his picture, I watch Steph. I watch Kyrie. I watch Shea. I watch Luka. Like, just dissect the game. I watch those guys. You get me? Like, it is so crazy to be able to dunk like that. And Kenyon Martin said it on Gil's Arena when they were reacting to it. He said, like, once one of those greats, like the greats in this, he said it like this. He said, the greats in this game, once they get to this, off of 2 feet, you're getting destroyed. That's exactly what he said. This is a guy that has blocked shots before. Like, Kenyon Martin was a legit shot blocker and a dunker in his heyday with the Denver Nuggets and New Jersey Nets. He was the one that faced Kobe in the finals with Shaq in 2003. The last year of the three-peat. When you get like here, hand behind your back, behind your head, looking like off of 2, you're only talking about Vince and Mike and Cole, maybe T-Mac. Like, you're talking about guys like Gerald Green, if you guys remember, like Zach LaVine. You know, that's what you're talking about. But then the unafraid, the like big dog mentality of Ant to just like, I'm going into this lane because I want to do this. Because I'm going to try it. Because I already tried it in Anthony Davis and it didn't work. I missed it. So I want to try it on him and see what happens. And, man, he took off, man. He's just like gliding. And boom! And the still shot is incredible. So it's one of the greatest in-game dunks I've ever seen. It just adds to the lure and the aura of Anthony Edwards, just the Ant-Man himself, like the smile after, you know, what he said after the post game. This was hilarious in classic Ant fashion, you know. He said, little last, you feel me? Like, in the middle of the interview, like, it's hilarious, man. Like, I was dying. Like, I love Ant-Man. I love watching him play, and that dunk was absolutely incredible. And we're just going to, this is just the tip of the iceberg. He's 22. 22. The greats start winning championships at 26, 27, 28, 29. Steph won at 25. D-Wade won at 23. That's it. Everybody else, 26, 27, 29. The greatest of the greats. Except Magic, because he joined the stacked team. So coming out of Michigan State, you know, he came in, boom, rookie year, you know, I think he was like 22 or 21. He got a championship. Other than that, 26, 27, 28, 29. Ant is 22 and has a legit shot if Cat's healthy. But even if he's not fully healthy, I think Ant is enough to take him at least to the Western Conference Finals against Denver and give him a good series. Now, if Cat's healthy with that defense and Rudy, that's scary. You could say experience all you want. He's been in 2 playoff series. One with the champs, you know, with the eventual champs, and the other one. Actually, no, I think they faced the eventual champs twice. Because in 2022, I think they faced Golden State first round. No, Golden State went against Denver. Who'd they go against? Was it Phoenix? Memphis? I don't remember. Might have been Memphis. Yeah, I think it was Memphis. And they went, I think they went 6 games or 7 games, something like that. But like Ant, yeah, man, I think Ant's got it, man. If it's not this year, guess what? He's 23 next year, and he's gonna be better. I think he averages 30 next year. He averages 26 this year. After Cat went down, he's averaging 29, almost 30. On great efficiency from 3, 37% from 3 for the year, and shooting great efficiency and playing stellar defense. He's gonna be on an All-NBA team. He's gonna be the type of guy that's gonna just rack up All-Stars, rack up All-NBA teams. He'll get first team All-NBA votes one of these years. You know, him and Luka probably will snatch him up, or him and Shea. Once Steph especially like moves on and Dame gets a little older, I think that those will be locked, at least from the West. But, I just love Ant, man. And he has a legit shot. And I'm so excited to see it. April 20th, baby. The playoffs start. April 20th. It's amazing. So, let's talk about now. Broke that dunk down. Let's talk about the March Madness. So March Madness, I think we have our 64 teams because the 2 playing games have already been played. The last ones got played today. So I believe that we got So right now Colorado is beating Boise State. That's the last playing game. Grambling beat Montana State 88-81 to grab the Midwest region 16th seed. And then the 10th seed in the South region is right now Colorado is winning over Boise State 23-18, but it's still in the first 242 in the first half because college is 2 halves. If we're talking about the tournament, I got UConn, man. UConn, North Carolina. I like Illinois. I like South Carolina. I love Kentucky, but I've always loved Kentucky. That's just kind of my personal bias a little bit because I've always loved Kentucky. I love Tennessee. Texas Tech is going to be interesting. Kansas depends how they play, but Duke depends how they play. But overall, I got UConn. And it's because they're just a complete team. Like, they're made for a repeat this year. They didn't keep everybody because Jordan Hawkins obviously went to the league, and so did Andre Jackson. But everybody else is there. I think Sonogo also went to the league second round, if I'm not mistaken. Their center. But everybody, they have a kind of older team, veteran, really good though. Play really good, play hard, and Coach Dan Hurley, he has them boys buzzing. So I'm going UConn. Surprise though, I think it's Kentucky. They're a 3 seed. But if Bellingham makes himself a top 3 lottery pick, Rob Dillingham, and Shepard makes himself a top 5 pick in this tournament, yeah, I think Kentucky has a shot. Tennessee has a shot. Why haven't I said Purdue? Well, they've lost against a 15 seed and a 16 seed the last 2 years with Zach Edey, the 2-time defending back-to-back player of the year. You can't do that and then lose to a 15 and 16 seed, man. That's why they're not going to draft you. That's why they say that you can be drafted. 2-time national defending 2-time defending back-to-back National Player of the Year. And they're talking about not drafting him in the first round or at all. Are you kidding me? Because he's a slow-footed big. Slow-footed big. I can think of one slow-footed big that is dominating the league right now. His name is Nikola Jokic. He's been doing okay, but he got picked 42nd or 44th during the Taco Bell commercial in the second round. So, I guess they don't know much. We'll see what Zach Edey does. But Purdue is, the people have him on upset alert, even though they gave him a cakewalk to the Elite Eight, essentially. Excuse me. To the Elite Eight. They kind of gave him a cakewalk. The committee gave him a cakewalk, so we'll see what happens. UConn has to go through the toughest thing. They have to go through 3 conference champs, including the SEC. 3 conference champions they have to go through to get to the Final Four. That's incredible. For the women's side, we're going South Carolina, Iowa. I don't want maybe LSU. Maybe. But I'm going South Carolina, Iowa, and I'm leaning South Carolina because they've won, 64 in a row. Some crazy. They've lost like 1 in the last 2 years or something like that. It's crazy. It's nuts. It's nuts. So I'm going Iowa against South Carolina to win the Natty. Next, let's talk about this MLB, man. Listen, this MLB has been absolutely nuts in spring training. It seems like everybody's on a heater. Everyone. Seems like every single one of the big boys is on an absolute heater and going into the season looking ready to ball. One thing that we have to talk about, Ohtani's interpreter has gotten fired by the Dodgers because it was found out that he's alleged a massive theft on Ohtani. $4.5 million in wire transfers sent from Ohtani's bank account. Yeah, I could see why a guy that got paid $700 million for 10 years. I could see why the interpreter has been snooping around, trying to nibble a bit of the apple, nibble a little bit. But you can't do that, man. You can't do that. It's not legal. It's not ethical. You're kind of saying F you to your client. You're one of his most trusted people, the guy who says the words that he says to you in Japanese to translate them to English. He's trusting you with his image. Essentially, what comes out of his mouth is what comes out of your mouth. Can't be stealing from him, man. Can't do that. Especially when the guy's balling, man. Balling. Ohtani's balling. He's not pitching this year. Still going for the MVP. As a DH. Snell hopes to pitch in the Giants opening series. I think he will. Aaron Judge is back, so he's not hurt. He's back. So now they just have to wait for Garrett Cole. Kiner Falepa trade INF Espinal to the Reds for a minor leaguer. Okay, so Kiner Falepa and I think Ronaldo Espinal go to the Reds for a minor leaguer. Okay, I guess. Oh, McLean may need shoulder surgery for the Reds. That's not good, Matt. It's not good. I wanted to see your year 2 season. Merrill. So I think it is. No way. Oh, Jackson Merrill, 20-year-old center fielder who has never played a Double-A. Made his major league debut for San Diego against the Dodgers. Huh. Nice. A guy who's never played a AA game playing a spring MLB game. That's hilarious. You must really believe in him. The Dodgers lineup legit has 3 of the top 4 MVP favorites: Ohtani, Mookie, Freddie. That's 3. Plus, they have the one of the favorites for Rookie of the Year in Yoshinobu Yamamoto. You know, probably Bobby Miller, if they consider this his rookie season. I don't know if they considered last year's rookie season. But yeah, man, like, it's so exciting. The Yankees look good. Dodgers. You still have the Pirates with O'Neal Cruz, exciting player. So Ellie. Like, the Braves are still going to be good. Blue Jays, the Mets, see what they happened this year. The Colts, the Cubs, with Bellinger and Morel and Dansby and Imanaga. Like, the Giants are going to be good. I don't know about the Angels this year. I like Logan O'Hoppe. I love Mike Trout. I think he's going to have a bounce-back season. Maybe flirt with the MVP if they're any good. But their pitching has to hit. The Diamondbacks are still going to be good. The Rockies are going to suck. But I love Nolan Jones. The Rangers are still going to cook. Athletics are going to be bad, unfortunately. I like Zach Geloff, though, and Esteury Ruiz. Marlins are probably going to suck, but, hopefully Tim Anderson and Jazz wake up. But I'm excited. I'm so excited, bro. So excited. Like, especially last year with the pitching clock change, it's shorter games, and now, like, everybody seems healthy. Oh, can't wait, man. Can't wait. Cannot wait. All right, we're gonna end it off with NBA. We're just gonna take a look at the standings. And the reason I'm doing this is because I believe Milwaukee is creating some momentum. I believe Milwaukee, they're 6-4 in their last 10, but with Dame, if Dame gets cooking and then Giannis gets back, dangerous thing to happen. The Knicks are now still half a game up on Orlando for that 4th seed. Orlando's haven't been talked about, man. Orlando's 8-2 in their last 10 with 4 straight wins. Paolo and Franz are playing their asses off. You got Philly, 5-5, the last 10. 16.5 games back. I think it's out of reach at this point. That 5th seed. They got to stick in the 6th. But they're tied with Indiana. It's only 1 game away from Miami. Then we move to the West. And OKC and Denver are tied straight up. Only OKC has 6 percentage points higher. It's 0.701 to 0.696 for Denver. But they're tied. One's 7-3 in their last 10. The other one's 8-2 in their last 10. Minnesota's 5-5 in the last 10, but they're still only a game back. 1 game, and that's the game that they just lost to Denver, where Ant, had a chance to win it, but missed the 3 at the end, left it short to tie it at the end. They had chances to win, but Denver, even on the road, is tough. But it was a really good game for Ant, and no Rudy Gobert, to have a 3-point game against the defending champs at full strength with no Rudy and no Cat and no Naz Reid says a lot to Anthony, and he scored 30. Should have had more, though. The Clippers are out of it. The Clippers are now in a battle with New Orleans and Sacramento, and more New Orleans because the New Orleans are half a game back of the Clippers, and they are 8-2 and won 3 in a row, and Zion is playing insane. Zion is going back to Duke Zion. Zion's going back to oh my God, this guy might be the best prospect since LeBron Zion. He's taking it that seriously after that shellacking that he took from the Lakers in the in-season tournament. He got serious. Stop all the bullshit. Stop all the eating. And he looks he's peaking at the right time. That's where my dark horse to get out of the West. Nobody can deal with Zion, bro. You can't cover him. And his team is so good. Trey Murphy's hitting his 3-ball. CJ's playing well. You still got B.I. You still got Irv Jones. You still got Valanciunas. Like Alvarado. Hawkins coming off the bench. Najee Marshall. Like you got so much depth in that team that for a dark horse, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. Timothy Clippers are just sputtering right now. They can't play defense. Sack is just there, man. It's just there. Two games away from the 5th seed. Half a game out of the 7th seed. Dallas nipping on their heels. Phoenix half a full game behind Sac. Half a game behind Dallas for the 7th. The Lakers are 11 games back. And Golden State's 12 in the 10th seed. You feel me? Like, it is so close. And Houston, 8-2 in their last 10, won 6 in a row, and are 2.5 games behind Golden State. So Golden State better start beating people. And quick. Because Houston is on a roll, and Jalen Green has averaged, like, I think 33 in the last 3 games. Plus 240 bombs. I don't know why he picks the end of the season when they shutting down Ausar Thompson. Like, I don't understand what Amen Thompson, sorry. Or Detroit shutting down Ausar. I don't think Amen's getting shut down. I don't know why you would, why would you turn it on now? Why couldn't you turn it on when you guys were rolling earlier in the season? Why were you missing so many shots? Why were you still playing hero ball? I don't know what Jalen Green does, bro. He always picks this time to start exploding, and then the next year he's a dud. Again. Can't keep doing that. Utah's playing well. They're 2-8 though in their last 10, but I like the way Keontae George is running the floor, playing well with Colin Sexton, with Laurie. John Collins got his ass dunked on. Still funny. So funny. Memphis, G.G. Jackson's playing well, but they're 3-7 in their last 10, and then Portland's done. San Antonio's done, except Wemby does crazy stuff. So, overall, the Pelicans, Orlando, and, man, that 1 seed in the West, man. Who's going to get that 1 seed in the West? 1, 2, and 3 are separated by a game. A game. And then I think New Orleans is going to end up with that 4 seed because I just think they're just playing better than the Clippers right now. I just think that. So, NASCAR is going to COTA this week. It's going to be the first road course, so I expect AJ Allmendinger, Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, maybe one of the road course dudes like a Jordan Taylor, or maybe Shane Van Gisbergen in Xfinity. Probably have a shot. But I'm looking at Ty Gibbs as well. Martin Truex Jr. Those are the guys I'm looking at. Chase Elliott. Those are the guys I'm looking at the top right now for that race at COTA, which is going to be super exciting. All right, guys. That's it. Episode 92 of the Exec Talk podcast. I am your host, El Velez. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow me on the socials. Interact with us. Send us DMs. Comment on the TikToks. Share the clips. Share the podcast. We're on audio on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, you name it, we're on it. And yeah, love the support. Love everything you guys are doing. Let's keep growing. And I leave you with the outro.
El fenómeno que todo